Andy, great to speak to you. How has the last 7 days been at the football club?
It's been a really difficult week, as you can imagine. Obviously, two people that have left the club that have been brilliant manager and assistant manager for this football club and been here a very long time and a lot of success. So it's been a strange but difficult week.
You miss having them around? How have you had to adapt to not having them around?
Well, I've been through it at my old club, Cardiff City. It's one of the hardest things, but I suppose we just have to move on and try and get on with it as best we can. Accrington Stanley's always going to be here. We just got to try and carry on with the gaffer and Jimmy left off.
How are the players taken to the change, do you think?
Well, they're going to be sad, obviously, they are. But football and time doesn't stand still, so we're having to just try and get on with things the best we can.
In terms of Saturday, how do you look back at Saturday's game now? You've had a couple of days to assess it.
Well, obviously, we've seen in the first half that, again, defensively, we let in some poor goals. We can't hide that. Second half, I thought we'd come out and we were really good second half. I think for the next game, we're going to go to Swindon and be positive. Obviously, try and clear up the defensive errors that have happened and be positive. And one thing I'd love for sure is a clean sheet for my goalkeeper.
Yeah, how are you looking on the injury front with the group now?
Well, on the goalkeeping side, positive bit of news is Toby's coming back. We look as if we're getting some of the senior players back slowly. Obviously, we need more bodies because we're thin on numbers. It is a very, very young team, as we know. So all in all, we just hope we can get as many bodies available for training and for selection in the up-and-coming weeks.
What's the timescale with Toby's recovery?
He's more or less ready to play. I think he'll need a couple of more reserve team outings. He's going to play at Preston, I think. And then obviously we will lose Radek Vitek when he's away with Czechoslovakia. So it'll be an interesting time. And let's not forget young Jack McIntyre, who's a really, really good goalkeeper, an upbeat lad, and he's fantastic to have around the place.
Yeah, obviously you've had quite a lot of goalkeepers over the years at the football club. Vitek will benefit from this loan spell, won't he?
Yeah, he will do. And he's a really, really big, honest guy, great to work with. I'm really pleased with the group of goalkeepers I've got at the club. Training's up at the moment, especially with Toby coming back. It's great to be out there with him. And I say, we want to put a positive spin on it and try and get everybody with a smile on their face and go and get a result tomorrow night.
Yeah, Toby's one of the senior players, having played so many games. They're all a young group, but those senior players in the squad, we've just spoken to Jack Nolan, are important now, aren't they, to help those younger players who've integrated into the team in the last few weeks?
Absolutely. The young heads, I think Kelvin could be back tomorrow, so that obviously we do need experience, we know that. But I think the biggest thing for me and John is to keep encouraging a very young team and to keep them smiling. And obviously we got to cut out the errors that happened on Saturday for sure. Get the ball done and play and try and score some goals. I mean, it's not rocket science football, but obviously you can't go conceding early in games, and being 3-0 down at half-time is always difficult to chase. And funnily enough, if we look back at the Swindon game at home, it was one of the most incredible games I've seen here. I think where we went, was it 3-4-0 down and came back to 4-3 and nearly got something in the last minute. So one thing you can't question about the group of lads here is the character and the spirit, and credit John and Jimmy. Accrington Stanley's always been built on that, and over the years they've brought players in here that have had that in abundance. So we've got to carry on with that and dust ourselves down, whatever you want to call it, and go again on Tuesday night.
Is it natural for confidence to have been affected after 4 successive defeats?
Yes, it is, and it happens at every club. I mean, one thing you've got to do is, as I say, try and eradicate what's gone on, as in the mistakes, get back on that horse and stop the rot.
How important is it to not let this season fizzle out now? Because Accrington are not going to be relegated. You're quite a long distance from the playoffs. What does a good end to the season look like for Stanley now? Well,
we've got to try and win as many of the next 10 games as we can, for me. And like I said, I look at it sometimes differently, because probably being an ex-goalkeeper and that, I know how much clean sheets mean, and we've not had enough of them this season. So that would be my first priority. Tuesday would be to keep the ball out of the net and obviously go down the other end and score.
Just in terms of the managerial situation, what have you been told? Is it John Doolan until the end of the season, and then the club will reset things and look at things in the summer? Is that what you've been told?
Yeah, I mean, John's been asked to take the reins. I'm one of them that I want to get. I'll try and help in each and every way I can. I love my position as goalkeeping coach, but if I'm asked to do a little bit more, I'm more than prepared to do a little bit more. I've loved every minute of being back here. I had a fantastic time first time here, which set me on my coaching career, and I'm back, and I'm going to try and help as much as I can to lift everybody, myself, the staff, the lot, because it's been, as we say, a difficult week, and two legends have left the club, and we've got to go on and try and get some results for the football club.
It must be a challenge, good for you to move your goalkeeping coaching skills into coaching the outfield players as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you see it from a different side now, and the more involvement. I love having more involvement anyway. I'll just try and help as much as I can, and what we need is a couple of results to put smiles on people's faces.
Swindon, curiously, have an interim manager as well in Gavin Gunning. What have you taken from what they've done in recent times?
Well, if we know their form is, their form is indifferent. Funnily enough, I knew Gavin when I was goalkeeping coach at Rotherham. Gavin came as a player under Steve Evans. The style of play's changed. They're a little bit more direct, so we're going to have to face up to the physical side of it tomorrow again. It won't be too different to what we came up against on Saturday. So we'll go down and be as best prepared we can, ready to dig in and try and get that clean sheet that we need.
And you've already touched upon it. It was November when Swindon were 4-0 up here. Stanley came back to 4-3 and very nearly got 4-4.
Well, it was an amazing evening. Those games, wow! If we'd have come back to 4-4, that would have been one of the best games ever.